Hello, Nora the Leca Queen here. You know I love to be a little bit of a maverick. Today, I'm shaking things up. This beauty right here is my beloved zzplant. It's been thriving in soil, but I decided it's time for a change. Why? Well, let's just say I love experimenting and pushing the boundaries of traditional plant care. Now grab a cup of your favorite brew because today I'm unveiling my secrets to a flawless transfer of a large zzplant from soil to leca. I'll walk you through each step and share my personal tips. So let's get our hands dirty, or should I say clayey, and dive into the world of a zzplant transformation. Okay, the first step is going to involve taking this plant out of this pot and taking the soil away from the plant. So I like to always put gloves on when I'm doing this process because I really don't like the soil or potting mix or organic matter going under my nails. So I'm ready to go. So the first thing we're going to do is get that pot and give it a nice gentle squeeze. Oh my gosh, this plant is, I'm guessing it's root bound. It is, that pot is so firm. I can almost see the rhizomes there. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to put my back into this and try not to damage the plant. Oh, wow. Oh, that is quite... Ooh. That is really root bound. Oh, huh. I'm trying my hardest. Huh. Telling you, who needs a gym? Or you've got this to do all day. Oh. My goodness. Oh. 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 I told you she was root bound. I told you she was root bound. Look at that. How fantastic is that? That is just so beautiful. That plant needed a repotting. Even if it was going to stay in soil, it definitely needed to be repotted. You can tell that it's root bound because one, it's completely taken the shape of the pot, and there's actually very little potting mix or organic matter in there. So it's all just roots. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this plant outside and I am going to blast it with a lot of water to try and get all that soil and organic matter off. One of the things you can do actually to make this process a little bit easier is just to get a bucket and soak that in there for, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it takes to just dissolve all that soil. But I don't have time to do that. I'm just going to blast it with my hose because it's so therapeutic. I love blasting things. Let's go outside. I've got my plant outside and I'm using my hose. I use the shower and the jet setting of my hose to get as much of that soil and organic matter off as possible. Trying to do it as gently as I can while being as aggressive as I can and try not to damage the roots at the same time. It's a little bit of a delicate balance, but you get the general idea. And while I'm doing that as well, wash off the leaves to make sure that they're all clean and there are no pests coming along for the ride. All right, I'm back from outside and my plant is washed. It is so clean. Look at that. Look at those fantastic roots. It really looks amazing. I haven't done too much damage, so I think things should be okay. Look at the majesty that is this plant. It looks absolutely fantastic. So at this stage, I just tug at the roots. If there's any that are a bit loose, I'd love those to come off now and not later in my leca. So just get all of them off that come off easily, and whatever's left is fine to go into my leca. So that is looking good. All right, so I've got that much off my plant. I'll put that to the side. Because this plant is so big, I'm going to put it in this 20 centimeter pot. I could have probably gone even larger with the pot size, but I don't have a clear pot that's larger than the 20 centimeters. So we'll have to go with that for now. So that kind of goes in like so, which is okay-ish. We'll work with that. So I've got some clean leca here. This leca has been soaking for not less than 24 hours. It's clean. It's ready to go. I'm going to get my potting top because I don't want my leca to fly out everywhere, because you see these little holes there? The leca comes out of that, and it does become rather annoying to pick up all the time. I love this potting top because I can pin it up in the size and do all my potting without my leca flying everywhere. So the first thing we're going to do is obviously put a little bit of leca at the bottom of this pot. So see, that was coming off there. All right, so I've got that about slightly less than a third of the way up. And I'm going to test and see how far I go in with that. That's good. That's a great height there. I think I'm going to leave that plant there and just basically fill the rest of that pot up with leca. And just making sure to squeeze the pot just to settle that leca. There we go. Get that leca everywhere. All right, that is my plant all potted up in its 20 centimeter pot, filled with leca, and that is looking absolutely beautiful. Now, this next step is really crucial to make sure that the ZZ plant survives the transition from soil to leca. This right here is a special item. This is a saucer that you would put your pot on top of even if your plant was living in soil. It doesn't have any holes, and that is what's going to be used as our cash pot. So I've got my nutrient solution here, and I put my nutrient solution in this cash pot. And the reason that we're using a very, very shallow cash pot or a saucer is because we don't want those roots having any contact with that nutrient solution. We want the roots to grow into the saucer, into the nutrient solution, and those roots will be adapted to growing in that hydro environment. So we're not giving it a big reservoir like we would with another plant. We're being really, really gentle with the ZZ plant. And if indeed you do have a lot of time on your hands, you can actually do what is called the shower method, where you literally just pour nutrient solution on your leca on either a daily or a 2 daily basis, depending on the weather where you live. And that way, the leca is still keeping moist. The plant is getting nutrition and water while it's very slowly adapting to the hydro environment. But I tend to do this when I'm transferring my ZZ plants, because I just don't have time to start going to shower method my ZZ plant. So that's it. That is my gorgeous baby looking absolutely fantastic. I've had my ZZ plant living in leca for a month, and I'm glad to show you that this plant is actually still alive. Look at it here. It is alive. Those are the stalks that the plant started off with, and I'm really, really happy. I do have to tell you, though, that there has been one casualty. If you look at this one over here, you can see that this stalk here, I reckon this was one of the newer ones. That's dried off a little bit, and that's not doing so well. It's not doing so hot. You can see that over there. But aside from that, everybody else is doing okay. There hasn't been a single leaf that's been lost from any of these stems over there. And the most exciting thing, remember, this is a month since I transferred this very large ZZ plant from soil to leca, is look at this over here. That is a new stalk that is coming out. I'm so excited, and I'm actually quite shocked, to be honest. I didn't think that was going to happen. So what did I do to get my ZZ plant this way? The first thing that you will remember, of course, is that I had a very, very shallow reservoir. And in addition to that, I actually put this ZZ plant in my grow tent where it had a very high level of light. It had some great humidity in there. And in a second, I'll show you what it looks like in my grow tent and exactly what the parameters that it was growing under are. So you can know exactly what I did to get my plants to look this way. But another thing I do want to show you is if you look at this video over here, you can see that there's new growth that's coming from those roots. They're new roots that are coming through from that plant. And obviously, the soil to Leca transfer has worked because the new roots coming through. And I guess because the plant is happy, it actually started getting that new stalk that it didn't have before. So all in all, I'm very excited, and I can't lie, I was very nervous about doing this transition. I've never done this large of a ZZ plant before, so I was pretty nervous about how it was going to transition, but I think it's gone really, really well. And of course, the major reasons are I used Leca that was primed and pre-soaked. I gave it a very, very shallow reservoir. And of course, if you do have the time, you can use a shower method instead of giving it a shallow reservoir. And I did put it in my grow tent where it had access to a lot of light. It had a high humidity and it was a very, very warm in there as well. So all these things have contributed to this plant looking this way. For more ZZ plants in Leca content, watch this next video where I show you some of my ZZ plants. I'll see you there.